What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do There, this is much better. Today we're doing the top 5 best food-themed board games. So let's get cooking. It's time again for another Tabletop Morning Show cooking segment. Everyone give a big round of applause for your host. Welcome back to the Tabletop Morning Cooking Show. We're your hosts, Mike
and Kim.
And today we have a special treat. We'll be baking a beautiful loaf of sourdough bread and accompanying that with the wonderful game Beer and Bread. So stay tuned. Beer and Bread is a clever multi-use card game where players draft cards to harvest resources, bake bread, brew some beer, and provide some special abilities. Players must balance both beer and bread well, because at the end of the game, they'll be rewarded points for whichever they have the least in. Kim, as you well know, I'm a huge fan of multi-use card play, which this game provides in spades. It just provides a lot of depth for what is otherwise a pretty simple game.
Oh, I know that you are, and I love the fact that you can have the cards and do multiple things with them. You can take resources or use them for abilities.
You could do both?
On the same card.
That's amazing.
It sure is.
Because each card has 3 different sections in it, much like our bread has 3 different ingredients. A card can either be used to harvest for resources, create for points, or you can slide it under the tab below to use a special ongoing ability throughout the game. It's a surprisingly enjoyable playing experience, despite the fact that it's relatively simple. There are a lot of moments when you're sitting there stressing out on how to play your card. But don't worry, it's not that stressful. It is the kind of game that we just play sitting on the couch. You know, after a hard day's work, sometimes you just want to come home and play a good game of Beer and Bread, because a complicated board game should be the yeast of your worries. Now we'll simply start kneading the dough. And then, like the objective cards you fulfill in Beer and Bread, we'll let it rest for a bit. I'll score a lot of points for this one. Now we'll just pop this little guy into the oven. Make sure it's nice and hot, because just like Beer and Bread, we won't accept anything that's half-baked. And aesthetics matter. Beer and Bread is a beautiful game, just not as good looking as this bread. And don't forget the beer!
Cheers!
It's sort of like Seven Wonders Duel, you know, it's something that is relatively simple, but has enough depth there.
I think that's kind of our hallmark of great games, is that it's not super complicated, but it allows for a lot of strategic...
For our 2-player games.
Yes, for 2-player games, okay. Complicated is great, but complicated for the sake of just adding more mechanisms and complexity and materials seems annoying.
It's depth without complication.
There is a lot there, too.
Yeah, there is. There is quite a bit.
How are you just completing so many so quickly?
Because I have the ability that lets you place multiple bread on the same spot.
We don't have enough resources to finish that one.
I'm cheating.
We know that already.
And I love that in between rounds, you sort of get the cards that you use to harvest back into your hand. So it's like a multi-use card game that you get to use the same card multiple times in different ways in different rounds. That's really well done. That's really clever. She can't respond right now because she has my tasty bread in her mouth.
I always like when games have individual player abilities, so you have something special, I have something special. But there's 6 categories of player abilities, and because every single card has a player ability or end game thing, you fully customize your abilities. Yeah. So it's not just that you're given one, you get to pick and choose the ones that you feel are valuable.
By the start of the game, you're the same, but by the end, you're different. It's basically like 2 different bakeries/breweries competing against one another. That's really well done.
Yeah, everything about this game, I feel like it's so simple, but so good. And what more can you ask for apart from simplicity that's just done well?
That's right. Nothing simpler than sourdough bread. It's just a really fun game and a really deserving entry in a list that is about food and board games. So check it out. Absolutely. It's good bread. Like, I use my reroll now, so I can try to get something a little better.
Did you roll 1 dice?
Off this dice. Yeah, you just roll 1. And that's worse.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Binging with Turtle. This week, we'll be preparing sushi from everyone's beloved party game, Sushi Roll. Okay, that was the worst spin ever. Let's try that again. Okay, well, now I have to watch that. Sushi Roll sees players rolling lots and lots of dice, doing their best to load up their personal conveyor belt with delicious sushi, to combo as much as possible, and meet their end-of-round objectives to win the game. I'm, of course, joined today by my wonderful co-host, Kim.
Hey everybody, and welcome to our date night playing Sushi Roll. This is the best game where you can actually make the food and then eat the food and play it as well.
This seems like a lot of work for just a date night.
You can also Uber Eats sushi.
That's true. Yeah. If you can't follow along this incredibly complicated ingredients list, you can just order it. But it's not just a date game. Like, this is kind of one of our go-to party games.
Yeah, we have sushi parties. Oh, we used to have sushi parties. Where you make sushi together and then you sit down and eat them and play Sushi Roll.
Yeah, we used to when groceries were a little cheaper, but now groceries aren't. We can't afford to feed people sushi. Get out of here.
You want a good variety of different things in there. In the Sushi Roll, you want your vegetables and your proteins. Same for the game. You want to make sure you have some dessert, but you also have tempura and you also have dumplings and your maki. You want variety everywhere.
Yeah, you gotta stay pretty versatile in like how you're building your sushi in real life and how you're building your sushi in the game itself. Because if you load up too much on like one type of ingredient, you kind of end up screwing yourself. And the game plays really quickly. Like it's one of those games that you can fit in just before you have dinner or after.
Or during.
Or during, like we're doing now. And we're all done, and it looks absolutely awesome. All right, so why don't we head into the dining room now, and we play some Sushi Roll while eating sushi. It sounds really silly, but there's something really satisfying about rolling these like big chunky dice.
But they're so cute with the little sushi on them.
Like it's kind of like the reason why we play board games and not like a video game. Because it's something tangible, you know? It has a tactile nature to it. You can feel these chunky dice like fiddling around in your hands.
I thought you were going to say because you could eat the thing too.
Well, you can't eat the dice. You'll have to go to the dentist. There's a bit of element to meanness in this game, but it's very slight. Like you can kind of look over what other people are using and trying to get for their ingredients and make sure that you scoop it out before they do.
It's my go-to gifting game. Like I think it's such an easy, cute gift. You can gift the gift of Sushi Roll with a little Uber Eats gift card.
That's true.
And you're like, what a cute little date night and plan. It's just such a simple game that you can play with 2 players or 3 or 4. Just because it's so fun for anybody.
And aesthetically, it's really super pleasing too.
It's so cute.
It's a really nice looking game.
I think Sushi Roll is just a great game for anybody.
And you can use the exact chopsticks that you use to eat sushi to pick up the dice from the conveyor belt. This is hygienic, right? I think this is hygienic.
Put in your mouth, yeah, that's what hygienists do.
Never mind, I can't even pick up the dice. I have no skills. I can pick this up, I swear to God. What's going on? Ah! Okay, it's no longer hygienic, it's on the ground. You know, sometimes you just don't want an overly complicated board game or an overly complicated dish. Especially not after the last Twilight Imperium introduction tragedy of 2021. Because sometimes you just gotta keep it light and fresh. And you know what, kiddos? I got the perfect game for you.
B-roll intro.
Okay, no more opening drawers. It's time to play some cards and toss some salad. Point Salad is a fun and quick card drafting game where your goal is to build the best salad possible. On your turn, you either take one of the 2 face-up veggie cards or you take the top card of one of the 3 decks, which are the endgame scoring cards. Whoever has the most points at the end of the game is the winner. And I am joined today by my sous chef, Kimberly. She's gonna do all the work and I'm just gonna stand by and watch because
and take credit for the dish.
It's a salad. There's only so much I can do. I mean, I washed the vegetables.
You washed lettuce wrongly.
I helped. Let's get started.
What are you doing?
Energy.
Okay.
It's just kind of nice to have those types of games where you can fit it in between games or like at the end of the night when everybody wants to go to bed and leave and you're just like, no, let's play one more game.
That's what you do to me all the time.
Yeah, it is. It's manipulation. And Point Salad facilitates that perfectly. And we are all done. See, I told you it was going to be super simple. Now we can take the salad, take the game, head out in the wilderness and have a picnic and play some Point Salad.
Yay!
Let's go. I think one of the things I really like the most about the game is the way the game scores. There are a ton of different ways to score in this game. I think it's probably like 100. And I like that the point scoring is always so damn high. You get a lot of points in this game, especially for how quick it is. But I think that's part of the fun. And part of the fun is like creating this little engine and seeing how much points you generate. And being like, behold, look at my salad. It has generated, whatever, freaking 150 points.
It was such a quick, easy, cute game. I can see it being kind of the go-to end of night game or the go-to starter game for any group event. I do think that this game, because it's different every time, it's the perfect game to whip out for any kind of event. Whether it's a game night or like you're having like a dinner party and you want a quick filler in between dinner and dessert.
The good thing about messing with people in this game is that because the game is light, because the game is quick, it doesn't matter. Like nobody is emotionally invested in this game beyond just laughing and having a good time. Nobody's gonna get angry. There are gonna be no sour grapes in this salad. No sour grapes.
You are like that.
I'm not like that. She's lying.
You're always like the sore loser whenever you lose
I
any
am
game.
not. This is a lie. This is a lie, and this will not go on the internet. And it has a good visual appeal too, right? So like we're outside playing it, and we're gonna have people come up, and they're gonna be like, "Holy crap, what game is this? Introduce us."
Who's coming up?
Everybody.
There's nobody here.
Yeah, there's the friggin' lineup. They're gonna come. Don't worry. Once they're finished their basketball game, they're gonna come over here and be like, "Holy shit, is that point salad? We want in. We got next." We actually don't own a lot of lighter card games in our collection. So for a game to make it into our collection that is a light card game, it's gotta be good. It's gotta be really good. I think Point Salad fits that spot in our collection beautifully, to the point where we don't really need many other quick card games. We just don't. It's always fun, no matter who you have at the table, even if it's just people who don't play a lot of board games, Point Salad works. So we highly recommend Point Salad, the 5 Michelin star board game.
Woo, this game is hot.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? From First We Turtle, I'm Mike, and you're watching Hot Turtles. It's the show with spicy wings and even spicier board games. And today, we're joined by the clever little abstract game, Scoville. In Scoville, you must crossbreed peppers to create the new and hottest breeds, all while engaging in some auctions, surviving the heat while planting, and finally, reaping your spicy rewards during the harvest. Fulfill your orders well and win the hearts of the townsfolk with Scoville. And sitting across from me is my gaming partner and spicy rival, Kim. Kim, in 3rd grade, you wore a pink flower dress, which was a bold fashion statement that many of your classmates were impressed by. Given your strong sense of aesthetics, what do you feel about the aesthetics of this game?
How did you know that? Wow. I think they did a great job with all the different colored peppers. I like the art. It's very clean and crisp.
Which is exactly what you want in these types of games, because it is a fairly lighter game. And with lighter games, you want an aesthetic that's a bit more light and fun. And I think Scoville captures that perfectly. So how are we handling the spices right now?
It's getting spicier.
I know, I'm right there with you. If you need some milk, it's right there. No shame, no judgment. Like a lot of games on this list, this is not a game that you can just kind of ignore the people you're playing with. The board is like this really neat abstract puzzle. It kind of reminds me of Five Tribes. Because in Five Tribes, like Scoville, you are constantly hyper aware of the movement that's going to be available to your opponent after you make your own movement. And so that creates this really interesting feeling of tension and interaction that you don't get in a lot of games.
Very similar. That you can very well utilize their decisions. And if you can see their strategy, you can make it work for yourself as well.
Yeah.
And you can decide if you go last, you have the benefit of going first to collect your harvest.
Yeah, exactly. Because in Scoville, if you choose to go last, yeah, you're going to plant last, but you're going to harvest first. So it creates another moment where you're making this really interesting decision that's very interactive. Kim, given your absolute love for abstract games, would you consider Scoville a good representation of one of those games?
Yeah, that's a very good question. You have to chew.
You can chew. That's okay. There's no rush here. We don't want people choking.
Of all the abstract games I played, this has very quickly come into one of the top ones. There is a lot more player interaction in this game than I expect from most abstract games, right? Abstract games often are focused on like you building your strategy.
Usually, it kind of feels like every round is a sort of mini race where you're racing to see if you can plant a pepper before someone else. You're racing to see if you can fulfill a contract before someone else. You're racing to see if you get a certain point on the board before the other player gets it. It just creates a lot of tension and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. The choice of what to sacrifice now in the hopes of future gain, always a painful decision. And it is made even worse in the events where your opponents get to complete that contract first, that recipe card first.
It's sort of like this cool balance that the game walks where you're not so anxious that you're like hyperventilating and thinking like, oh my God, the walls are caving in on me. But there's enough to put a fire under your ass. And you did it. And you didn't even have to drink milk.
Oh, I drank quite a bit.
Oh, did you? Okay, you must have did it like a ninja in stealth. All right, so let the people at home know. Let them know in this camera, or this camera. Let them know what you think about the game.
I absolutely recommend it for everybody, especially if you like spicy food.
Yeah, you could play this while eating spicy wings, but not really, because then you completely destroy your game. Do that when you borrow somebody's copy and then eat your spicy wings.
Oh, we cooked all our food and all we have left now are condiments. Well, I guess that means we're going out for dinner.
All right, that's it. Absolutely no more cooking. It's time we treat ourselves with some fine dining. Perfectly fitting our number 1 entry.
Welcome to A&W. Can I take your order?
Hey, can I get a chicken burger and fry, please? Hello, everyone. It's time for another Running on Empty food review. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another report of the week featuring the exquisite dining of A&W and this amazing board game, Food Chain Magnet. Food Chain Magnet sees players running a fast food joint, doing their best to hire the right employees, achieve milestones before their opponents, sell delicious food and drinks, advertise to local neighborhoods, and just generally do your best to put the competition out of business. Where other games will have a sort of catch-up mechanic, they sort of like hold you by the hand and say like, don't worry, little guy, I know you're behind, but you'll make a comeback. This game just says like, hey, you know what? If you're behind, that's your problem, dipshit. Figure it out.
It's like real life, like running a real business.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's punishing, but the punishment doesn't come at the hands of mechanics. It sort of comes at the hands of other players.
That was the most fun part for me, but I guess it can be the most painful part for some other people as well.
But what's good is that the negative player interaction, it's not like take that, like, oh, haha, I steal this from you. All the negative player interaction is basically just trying to outplay your opponents. That's the negative player interaction. It's not purposeful. It's not just I'm hurting you because I don't know, why not? It's I'm hurting you because I'm just kind of doing what's best for me.
Exactly. Yeah, that's where I don't mind the punishing part. I don't feel like the games were particularly punishing. It was like the first person to do something gets a reward. So I feel like it's rewarding, not punishing. But it can be punishing in the sense that if you know someone else is gunning for this thing and you have some kind of unfair advantage or just have better strategy and you get it first, it's like you intentionally get the thing so that person doesn't get it.
You have these milestones in the game, and if you're the first person to hire a waitress, or if you're the first person to make $100, you get to take one of those milestones, and they essentially like provide you a player power. And that's another thing that's really interesting about the game is that you start off all sort of the same, but then as the game progresses and you earn more and more milestones, you sort of become different. Like you become a different restaurant altogether. And I also love that there's like so much variety here. Like the board state's always going to be different. The board itself is always set up differently. You're not going to earn the exact same milestones every single time. Mm-hmm. And brief aside, is it just me or is like fast food completely garbage these days? Like this cost us $30 Canadian and it tastes significantly worse than what it once did. Like not even long ago, like 2 years ago. It was much better 2 years ago. I feel like every company across the world has decreased quality and increased prices. And it's a cool bit of a programming element to the game too, when you're selecting your actions before you actually take your turn. There's a lot of layers of complexity to this game, provide a ton of depth and a lot of engagement and interest.
I do feel that the way this game make promoting or advancing each of these workers that you have is such a cool idea. For this game, you can start with like, what is that, the junior management or some kind of person, and they have a whole like career path and all the potential for different types of jobs that they could get in the future. And I think that's so creative, where you get one person and the potential is almost like limitless. You can go a different path to the same type of person, which you never really see in most games.
So we definitely recommend Food Chain Magnet. It is an absolute 5-star game. Unlike this meal, which is most certainly a 1-star. Damn you, A&W Root Beer, damn you.
I think he has too high expectations for fast food nowadays.
It used to be so much better, and I'm not just talking about when I was a kid. I'm talking about like 2-3 years ago. You know what I'm talking about. Let me know in the comment section. You know exactly what I mean. Let me know.
The root beer is good.
It is good. Yeah. I got chicken on my soup.
And that was our 5 favorite food-themed board games. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe.
Oh, and let us know if you're able to guess all 5 of the food-related YouTube channels that we parody.
Yeah. And if we missed your favorite one, let us know who they are. So we can check out a new channel and maybe check out some new recipes. That's about it. You guys enjoyed. See you next time.
Peace.
Bye.